A wave of racism and chauvinism has again swept America, but only under a different flag. Those who have never been slaves in this life are forced to kneel and kiss the shoes of those who have never been a slave owner. As before, there were places and events only for white people. Now, there are events and hotels only for black and colored ones, where whites are already perceived as outcasts. For those who recognize the facts of reincarnation, one thought involuntarily comes to mind that the white slave owners of the 17th and 18th centuries, having served their sentences in hell, returned again to earth, but with black bodies, retaining the same desire to oppress representatives of other races, to assert themselves at the expense of humiliation and insults of others. Scientists know well that if one immerses a person in hypnosis and asks him to remember what happened to him before his birth in this body, he can begin to speak other languages, including very ancient ones, which he had never heard in this life, which known today only to a few specialists on this planet. Under the influence of hypnosis, a person can talk about his past lives, about how he lived in different ethnic groups, in bodies of various colors, gaining a certain character and experience, which thanks to this has been with him in this life since birth. Well-known businessman Henry Ford argued that he owed success in his life to what he had gained in a previous life, what he now has as innate knowledge. Many children under the age of 5 remember their past lives, and there are many amazing scientifically proven stories about how children who remember their past lives met with friends and relatives from their past lives and recognized them by communicating such details from their past lives that only they and this friend or relative could know. Many books have been written about this by researchers. In Buddhism, 5-year-old boys who were rectors of these monasteries in past lives often become lamas and rectors of monasteries. According to Buddhism, Hinduism, and many other well-known spiritual teachings, only those who have found love for a God, who have learned how to care, how to take care of all those around them as their brothers and sisters, can enter the spiritual world. However, if a person retains self-interest, malice, envy, pride, and a tendency to exploitation or humiliation, he will remain here in this world, changing roles with those whom he humiliated again and again until he turns his eyes to God and will not gain wisdom. Those who humiliate others will take the place of the humiliated in order to feel for themselves what it feels like to be a representative of these humiliated races or minorities. I think that if you plunge into hypnosis those black people who today rape and humiliate the whites in America, then many of them must have been white slave owners in their past lives. And some of their current white victims in their past lives were slaves whom they humiliated. A spiritual understanding of life leads to the solution of material problems. Racism, Zionism, chauvinism, and fascism are the result of self-interest and selfishness of people. The question is not in skin color, not in the nation, but in the improvement by each of us of our attitude to life. Each of us is a student of the school of life. And to make this world a better place, we need to change ourselves for the better. You need to change your attitude of life from the consumer vector, from the desire to drag everything towards yourself, to the vector of dedication, to the vector of love and concern for the good of others. Humanity has come to draw important conclusions from all of our past lessons and to evolve morally. This is what God is waiting from us. We'll become eligible to enter spiritual world when God be pleased with the way we treat one another.